Alright, today we're going to talk about one of the easiest ways you can increase your revenue as a Filipino business owner this 2024. The only reason why I believe I'm qualified to talk about what I'm going to share today is because I've spent the past 10 years generating over 500 million pesos worth of revenue from multiple businesses. I built a lead generation system that booked out our sales team with 20 meetings per day full of hot and qualified leads, and we got our most recent agency client over a 200 times return on their ad spend. Why is what I'm going to be sharing today important? It's because we can continue to believe pointless BS like all you need to do is keep posting content because content is king. You'll eventually go viral and then money's gonna start to pour in. Or lies like you just have to keep on believing in yourself or the product and actually not get any results after months or even years of doing that. Here's what I need you to understand. Increasing your business revenue is a skill, and it's a skill that requires a specific understanding of key frameworks to work within and levers that you need to pull in order for you to experience the results that you want. Here's what I can guarantee. If you are able to successfully pull the right levers, you're going to be able to experience significant revenue flow into your business more freely and more effortlessly. So if you've been struggling with getting your business from where it is now to where you know it should be, then stick with me because I don't even care how this sounds, but this is probably the best YouTube video you're ever going to find on the internet for Filipino business owners around this specific topic. So let's get to it. To begin, we must understand the theory of constraints. And the theory of constraints dictates that your business is limited by its weakest link. We must understand that at its core, every business is a system. We can put emotion into what a business is and call it our passion project or our brainchild. But if you strip the emotion away, you are left with a system. And like any system, it's broken down into different mechanisms, different parts, different funnels. And in order for us to maximize revenue growth in our business, we must be able to explore each mechanism and see any constraint we can elevate so that more revenue can flow freely into the business. So let us go through standard parts of business system. First, the mechanism of business market. Is your product solving a specific problem for people in the market? Are they just interested in having this problem solved, or have they been praying and begging for it to be solved for a very long time? Next thing that we want to take a look at is the offer. Is there something unique about our offer? Is our offer commoditized, or is there value that we can give that the industry isn't giving to our target market yet? Another thing that we can take a look at is the messaging that we have. Are we using platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube to share our offer? Or are we still using traditional means like warm market, referral marketing? Is our outreach strategy highly optimized, or have we just been doing the same thing that we've been doing for the past 10 years and it's becoming less effective? Another thing that we want to take a look at, are we able to maximize the amount of appointments that are booked from our marketing efforts? For example, if we have a virtual assistant, are they able to respond the right way? Are they able to respond right away? Are they able to converse with the client in a non-salesy way so that they are converted into appointments? Statistics show that if the person receiving the messages or the inquiries isn't able to reply within the first 10 minutes, their chances of purchasing from the business significantly decreases. Another thing that we must take a look at is, of course, after the appointments are booked, may sales na. Is our sales process dialed in? Are we able to increase the chances of our prospects buying because we have a pre-qualification system before the sales happen, because we have an indoctrination process before the sales happen? So these are all things that we should ask. And ideally, in the perfect world, what we would want to happen, let's say, for example, a total of 1,000 potential customers. Yung gusto natin mangyari is, ideally, 1,000 yung makatawid dito sa funnel na to para we are left with 1,000 sales. No lead fell through the cracks. But again, this is a perfect world scenario. In the real world, our businesses are filled with mga constraints, mga limitations, or we could also call these things inefficiencies. For example, yung market natin, hindi natin na-evaluate ng maayos. So what happens? Hindi sobrang taas ng demand for our product. So from 1,000 potential customers, natira na lang, sabihin natin 100. Picking the right market matters that much. So yung offer natin, hindi natin naisip yung unique selling proposition niya. So the offer becomes commoditized, and when the offer is commoditized, we are forced to compete based on price. But since there have been many players in the industry that have been serving serving the clients that we also want to serve and they have 1,000 more reviews, it's going to be difficult for you to capture their attention. Possibly, dahil hindi maayos yung offer natin, baka 25 na lang yung natira. And then yung marketing pa natin, in line with yung offer, hindi pa siya sophisticated. You're just clicking boost post, which is essentially just throwing away money. Ano nangyari? From yung marketing efforts na boost post lang, and then dito sa appointment setting system na matagal pa mag-reply si virtual assistant, 5 na lang yung nag-book ng appointment. And let's say hindi pa super dialed in nung sales process natin, bago pa lang yung salesperson natin, out of 5 appointments, isa lang yung na-close. And when we take a look at this, mapapansin natin na out of 1,000 potential supposedly, we are now left with only 1. Sabihin na natin yung naka-red, worst case scenario yan, but just to draw a contrast, no, para we can understand. If each of our products cost 50,000 pesos, if we had 1,000 potential people who could have bought that, our potential revenue should have been 50 million pesos. But because isa na lang yung natira, we now have 50,000 pesos. A win is still a win. We'll take a sale any time of the day. But unfortunately, it is far from the potential. Now again, what we want to do is we want to be able to maximize the revenue potential of your business. And the only way for us to do that is to alleviate all of the constraints so that we get the highest possible revenue for your business. And we want to be able to go through this systematically. So we have to first target the cornerstone of business revenue, which affects all the other mechanisms, which is the market. Once you get your market right, we can focus on the other constraints. But if we get our market wrong, as we will learn later on, it's going to be difficult for us to recover kasi simula pa lang, talo na tayo. Moving forward, of course, we want to quantify the value of getting the right market. So here are a couple of statistics. According to First Round Capital is a venture capitalist firm for mga seed and pre-seed companies, meaning companies na magsa-start pa lang. They've invested in mga companies like Uber and Notion. Most of us are familiar. According to First Round Capital, if the company is able to get a product market fit, they are able to experience 2 to 3 times faster revenue climb. Another statistic, according to McKinsey & Co., most of us are familiar, they're a very big consulting firm. Sabi nila, if a business is able to attain a product market fit, they are able to increase their revenue by 20 to 40%. So let's say yung annual business take-home mo currently, sabihin natin nasa mga 10 million pesos, if you are able to enhance your product market fit by going narrower or going broader or changing your market, as long as you get a product market fit, you could increase your revenue by up to 4 million pesos. Hindi ka pa nagtatumbling sa TikTok, hindi ka pa gumagawa ng CRM, hindi ka pa nag-email newsletter. Okay, now, let's look at case studies. First case study is Airbnb. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but Airbnb used to focus only on conference attendees. They didn't really focus on yung general market of travelers. So their platform, their messaging, their offer was for mga conference attendees. And doing that actually got them a pretty good valuation na. Yung valuation nila at that time was around the realms of $1 billion to $1.3 billion. So not bad. The business was actually already profitable. However, when they wanted to explore ways on how to increase their revenue, they decided to broaden yung market nila and cater now to everyone who needed a place to stay, either as a traveler or whatever their purpose was. So they made their messaging broader. And when they did this, they were able to experience a spike in revenue, and Airbnb, as we know it today, has already surpassed $100 billion na valuation. So think about it. Change in market lang yung ginawa nila, and yet the growth that they experienced is almost 100 times. Another company that we're all familiar with, Uber. Uber used to be a black car service. So ano ibig sabihin ng black car service? Essentially, mga rides, pero medyo VIP style. They were picked up with entry-level luxury cars such as Lexus, variants of BMW or Mercedes-Benz. And when Uber was doing this, again, they weren't doing so bad. In fact, they were doing $330 million in net valuation. But then, just like Airbnb, Uber wanted to optimize. So they decided to go broad. And instead of just focusing on black car services, they launched UberX, which catered to anyone who needed to go from point A to point B regardless of reason. So natamaan dito yung mga daily commuters, people who went to work, or anyone who generally used a cab. And their valuation grew to 80 billion. Again, almost a 100 times return. Na surpass na nga yung average na sinasabi ng mga statistics. This is exactly why I recommend recommend when going through constraints, we always start utilizing a market-first approach. Famous American venture capitalist Mark Anderson. Sabi ni Mark Anderson, you can get the product wrong, you could get the team wrong, you can get the strategy wrong, but if you get the market right, you can always recover and win. However, you can have the right product, the right strategy, and the right team, but if you have the wrong market, there is no chance for you to win. Your choice of market will always be greater than your choice of product, your choice of team, and your choice of strategy. Market first approach. Now, the next question is, how can we tell if tama yung market kung nasaan tayo ngayon? What factors are we supposed to look at? I believe there are 4 main drivers for market success. The first among the 4 I want to share through a very simple story. There was a business class and then yung professor asked his students, if all of you guys were to compete against each other using the same product/business, which is a hot dog stand, and all of you had a choice of one competitive advantage for your hot dog stand, what would it be? Students answered confidently and gave different types of answers. One student said, Prof, ang gagawin ko is I will set up the hot dog stand with the lowest price. Sounds good. Another student raised his hand and sabi niya, Prof, what I would do is I would set up the business with the best tasting hot dogs. Okay, good. Another student raised his hand, sabi niya, Prof, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up the hot dog stand in the best location. Okay, pwede rin. But the business professor took his time, he grinned and sabi niya, all of your answers are correct, but none of those would matter if you are not serving a starving crowd. So what is the point of the professor? It doesn't matter how good your product is, it doesn't matter how low your price is, if people, they do not have a strong desire for what you have to offer. So if we want to optimize for results, what we are looking for is a market with a strong desire or massive pain. What else can we look for? This one's pretty obvious. Purchasing power. Because it doesn't matter how good your product is if di nila kayang bilhin. Another thing that we should take a look at is whether or not the market is growing. If the market is not growing, the business cannot be sustained over a long period of time. Why bother getting into a sinking ship? So for example, you want to set up a typewriter business right now, it might not be the best idea. Even if you have the best typewriting technology and you have means to market it, the market has become sophisticated. People aren't using typewriters anymore. People are using smartphones, laptops, desktops, tablets. The market has to be growing. Okay, and lastly, what else do we want to take a look at? We want to take a look at ease of targeting the market. The normal ways to target a market would be share your product or service to your warm market and then you get referrals from that. But in my opinion, one of the easiest ways to target is by using Facebook ads. Facebook is the most widely used social media platform. They have over 2 billion users. And the Filipinos that use Facebook, iba-iba yung mga demographic nila, iba-iba yung mga behavior nila, iba-iba yung interests nila. The ad manager within Facebook is so sophisticated already that it can target any of these people as long as you know how to use it. So for me, kung medyo mahirap hanapin yung target market mo sa isang platform na sobrang dami ng tao gumagamit, hindi madali yung targeting. Alright, so now we're getting pretty specific, but can we get a bit more specific? Halimbawa, hindi mo pa nasa-start yung business mo and you just want someone to tell you what market to get involved with. Are there markets that are always growing? Are there markets that always have a demand? And the answer is yes. That's what we're going to talk about next. The 3 evergreen markets. First market is health and beauty market. We can go as broad as hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, nutraceutical companies, gyms, fitness coaches, aesthetic clinics, salons, spas, anti-aging products. This is a very, very wide market. Second evergreen market, we have wealth and finance markets. Anything that has to do with saving money, making money, investing money, getting out of debt, insurance businesses, cryptocurrency businesses, mga investment vehicle businesses, mga wealth coaches, mga finance coaches. Wealth and finance, always growing. Now, the last evergreen market is the relationship market. Pwede dito mga romantic relationships like dating coaches, mga marriage counseling, pero pwede rin dito yung mga relationships that are platonic with friends and family. There could be mga businesses that focus on how to not be socially awkward. May mga businesses that focus on how to communicate so that your message reaches yung friends mo properly. And books like How to Win Friends and Influence influence people, these are all focused on relationship and or personal development. Mga how to have a better mindset, how to be able to be more aware, how to overcome childhood trauma and stuff like that. Why is there so much data that supports that these markets are always on demand? The answer is pretty simple. It's because most people equate the acquisition of these three things psychologically with happiness. So technically, when people buy products and services in these industries, they believe that they are buying their way into happiness. Now, I'm not saying if yung business mo is outside of yung evergreen markets na to, it's doomed to fail. Obviously, hindi ganon. There are many fantastic industries that are outside of this. But if you want an easy place to start and this is your first time getting involved with business, I would recommend highly considering yung mga evergreen markets na to. Now, let's say you are already decided in a particular market, or you already have your feet buried in a particular market and you just want to learn how to be able to succeed in the market that you already chose. In order for us to do that, we must understand market sophistication. Simple lang naman yung ibig sabihin ng market sophistication. As the market grows and evolves, so do the consumers within the market. For example, can you go back to the time when Apple launched their first iPhone? It was literally like alien technology kasi people were so satisfied already with their analog phones, playing Snake and Space Impact. And then this smartphone comes along that has so many applications, uses, possible integrations. It just changed the whole game. If you think about it, it could have been any company that came up with smartphones and it would have been a huge hit in the market because the sophistication level of the market was very low. Fast forward 2024, if you decide to launch a smartphone business right now, it would be obviously a bit more difficult. Not only would you have to compete against major players in the industry like Apple, Samsung, Huawei, or Xiaomi, but you would also have to improve your product at such a level na earth-shaking yung benefit niya compared to the other smartphones kasi new player. So if you launch a smartphone business, people will take a look at how much storage can your smartphone hold, how sharp is the video and photo definition. They're also probably gonna take a look at how is the speed of yung phone mo overall, gaano katagal yung battery, gaano kabilis yung charge, and you'll have to navigate through all of these things to ensure that your business is a permanent player in the industry. In sophisticated markets, people have higher standards. If you want to compete in a sophisticated market, there are two ways to go about this. And the first way is to make your offer better. There are three easy ways in order for you to be able to do this. And the first way is for you to increase the speed by which your market is able to get what you promised they would get. People hate waiting. So for example, if you are into e-commerce, you can automatically compete with speed of delivery. Alam na natin yan pag nagsha-shopping tayo sa Lazada or Shopee. Another way na pwede natin tong gawin, for example, we are in a service-based business. Halimbawa, fitness coach tayo. Instead of doing the typical 90 days before customers see results, if you can get the customers results in 30 days, that would also increase the value. Another way that we can increase the value of yung product natin is by increasing the certainty by which the customers are able to get what you promised they would get. If you're a service-based business, you can increase the chances of customer satisfaction by doing a pre-mortem and looking at all of the things that could possibly go wrong and mitigating them before the actual service so that you could give a money-back or satisfaction guarantee. If product-based business ka, to increase certainty is research all the ingredients that would possibly make a person get the result that they want. So like, let's say for example, product mo is a fitness drink or a weight loss drink. Search all of the ingredients that would make a person lose weight and put as much of that into your drink, even if it costs a bit more. Why? People will pay for continued results. People also don't buy the same garbage twice. You can have good marketing, but if the product doesn't work, people won't buy it again. The last way to increase the value of your offer is by doing this, and that is by decreasing the suffering that people have to go through in order for them to achieve the results that they bought into. So halimbawa, let's stick na with the example, fitness coach ka. I think a lot of people are reluctant to get into fitness courses because they have a belief that they will have to sacrifice their favorite foods, their favorite desserts, their favorite meals. However, if you are able to build a fitness program which guarantees that people can stick with their desired foods or at least limited portions but still be able to get the result, this is also probably why most people would pay 150,000 pesos for a liposuction procedure rather than spend 30,000 for a 90-day coaching program because kung iisipin natin, yung suffering involved in getting a liposuction is just 1 day versus a 90-day coaching program which is 90 days. My point is, people pay so that they can suffer less. Another way for you to be able to compete in a sophisticated market is by niching down. Okay, what this means is maghanap ka either ng specialized services or specialized groups. Now, what are the things that we can look at if we want to niche down? We can look at emerging trends. For example, if you were a digital marketing agency, lahat ng ibang digital marketing agencies are all focused on Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok UGC, creating reels. However, we notice that an emerging trend right now is AI. So, if you are able to focus your services on the integration and implementation of AI into companies, then you can set yourself apart. Another thing that you can take a look at is overlooked groups in the market. Example, weight management coach ka. And yung initial servicing mo sa market is for everyone. Like anyone who goes to you, you'll teach them how to lose weight. However, if you specialize in, let's say, weight management for special children, weight management for disabled people, or weight management for the elderly, you will be able to specifically address the needs of that particular demographic in a more tailored way that they will appreciate more than a generalized approach. By doing this, you are increasing your appeal to a smaller demographic, but you will be the #1 go-to person for this particular service. Okay? Kasi if you are competing in a sophisticated market, tas medyo marami ng competitors, you have to evaluate whether or not it would be realistic for you to compete at the capacity that they are competing, with all the capital that they have, the knowledge, the skill, the team, the infrastructure, everything. So overlooked groups, this is something that you can consider. Next is a bit similar to overlooked groups, but it's a bit more straightforward. Geographic or demographic targeting. So for example, business coach ka. Instead of just being a general business coach, you could be a business coach for women. If you are a dating coach, instead na maging dating coach ka for anyone, you can be the dating coach for Metro Manila. You can be the dating coach for a specific county or state if you live in a different country. Again, there are nuances and iterations that you will have to make in comparison to a generalized service, but these iterations that you will make will specifically provide a solution to a smaller demographic that you can dominate. And sabihin lang natin, once you are able to dominate using a niche as your battering ram and you start to gain momentum with your revenue, you can niche up again. You can go general again. So if you decide to niche down, this isn't permanent, right? This is just a strategic business move that you can do if the market that you're in is already very sophisticated. Now, sa dami ng napag-usapan natin na concepts and principles, what I believe is important is implementation. So based on everything that we talked about, how can we then have at least a good idea of whether or not we should stay in our market, we should compete in our market, or we should consider readjusting or even changing our market totally? So in order to help us do that, I came up with what I like to call the Market Viability Index, or the MVI. Don't worry, this isn't going to turn into a calculus class. This is just an equation that I created in order for us to quantify whether or not the market is good, because I'm a true believer we cannot improve what we do not measure. So in order for us to measure how good or how bad the market that we have in mind or we're currently in is, we just take all of the factors that we talked about a while ago. Capacity to compete, ito lang yung bago, which we're gonna talk about later on. And sophistication level, why is it minus? Why is it 11 minus sophistication level? Is because typically, the more sophisticated the market is, the more difficult it is to compete. The lower sophistication level, the better. Capacity to compete basically means yung kakayahan ng founder to be able to navigate through the market based on the amount of knowledge that they have about the product or the industry, the skills that they have to navigate through business or the skills of their team, and the capital that we have, because capital is one of the levers that we can pull to access more resources, insights, systems, and results. And we divide that by 3 to get the overall capacity to compete. In order for us to ingrain this in our minds, we're just going to do a quick exercise na I hope you guys will appreciate para malaman natin kung paano ba gamitin yung equation na to. It's not as complicated as it looks. Natakot lang kayo kasi pangit yung handwriting. Okay, so let's give one example. Sabihin natin, the founder wants to set up makeup line na premium in the Philippines. Sabihin natin, the background of the founder is a beauty vlogger sa YouTube, and she has 200,000 followers. Sabihin natin, this is her first time doing business, and she is entering the market as a solopreneur. Okay, so let's rate 1 to 10. Market pain. Is there a pain for makeup? Are people hungry for makeup? Are people desperate for makeup in the Philippines? I would say that generally women are interested in makeup, but they are not dying for makeup. So I would say market pain, 5. Purchasing power. In the Philippines, disposable income for the general majority is more on the low end. However, is makeup generally an affordable product? If you save up for it, I would say yes. Purchasing power ng general majority for a makeup brand, even if it is premium, 6. Now, ease of targeting, can these people be found on Facebook? Yes, definitely. Okay, now, is it a growing market? It is in the beauty market. Within an evergreen market, it is like having the wind behind your back. Probably 8. Sophistication level. Do people know what they want in a makeup brand? Most people who use makeup have probably tried more than one makeup. Nauuso na rin ngayon yung mga organically sourced cosmetic products. I would say sophistication level is pretty high, around 9. So that would make 11 minus 9, 2. Now, let's go through yung capacity to compete. So, knowledge about the makeup industry, pretty high kasi beauty vlogger siya, right? So, let's say knowledge 9. Skills in entrepreneurship. Do they have the capacity to pull off a successful business? Nakalagay dito na solopreneur siya, but since she is a vlogger that has made it to 200,000 na following, that requires a specific level of skill na entrepreneurial for you to be able to do that. The 6. Capital, 1 million pesos. While this capital, it's not enough to bankroll a big business, it is a decent capital to start with. Nasa mga 6 yan. Let's get the average of knowledge, skills, and capital. 9 plus 6, 15 plus 6 is 21, divided by 3 is 7. Now let's get the total of everything so that we can get the average, 37. So 37 divided by 6, we have 6.1. So alalahanan natin to kasi we're going to use it later. Let's do another example. Variables natin is founder that wants to set up a newspaper business in the US. Background is they are the CEO of a top newspaper company. Sabihin natin, this founder is going in a joint venture with a seasoned entrepreneur. And sabihin natin the founder has 10 million pesos worth of capital. What is that? Let's start. Market pain. Are people dying for newspapers? I don't even think some people know what newspapers are. So market pain, I would say 2. Purchasing power. Can people who want newspapers buy newspapers? Whether or not they would buy it is another question, but if they so desire to buy it, would they have the capacity to? 8. Ease of targeting. Again, I always ask myself, can these people be found on Facebook? I don't think these people can easily be found on Facebook. I would assume that the people who want to still read using print are nasa older age group beyond 53. Is it a growing market? I think newspapers are a dying market, honestly. Obviously, there are people who would prefer to read on print for novelty or they don't want any more screen time, but generally, the market is dying. Sophistication level, the idea is where do people want to consume content? Before, people would consume content from print because that was the only choice that they have. But most people now consume content from media because media is easily accessible. So I would say market sophistication level nasa 9, so 2. Capacity to compete, knowledge about the newspaper industry, definitely a 9 kasi CEO siya dati. Does he have the skill? He ran a business for the top company, plus it is a joint venture with an entrepreneur. 9. 10 million is a pretty good capital to start a business with. Divided by 3, 8.6. So let's add all of this, 24.6. 24.6 divided by 6, 4.1. Now let's interpret yung mga results natin. 8 to 10 means excellent, 6 to 7.9 is good. If you're just starting out a business, I recommend that you aim to be within this realm of market viability. Business is already hard. You can make it easier by choosing the right market. Yung business ng beauty vlogger, nandito siya sa area na to. So, with the right systems, with the right team, with the right strategy, she could potentially compete. Newspaper business, it was 4.1. That means average to risky. I wouldn't compete if I did not have huge amount of capital, confidence in my ability, a huge knowledge advantage. Now, if you still want to compete here, that's your choice. Maybe you've been a market player for a while and you already have the resources to compete or even stay ahead of the game. That's totally possible, but it may be something that you want to reconsider. And by no means is the market viability index a perfect formula, but I do believe it will give you a pretty good gauge of whether or not you should stay in your market, you should adjust your market, or you should leave your market outright. Alright, that has been it for today's video. If you guys got value, do consider liking and subscribing so you can be up to date with more videos like this. And if you are a company that is looking for a way to effortlessly and painlessly scale your business, there's a link below for that. What our company does is we help businesses scale their revenue by 5 to 10 million pesos within 90 days, or they get their money back. So if you're interested to explore that possibility, click on the link below and we'll see if we're a good fit to help you. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.